anything I say today, my intentions are to help you. Only to help you. And because I care about you, that I'm very serious about this particular topic. So you will understand why I'm so serious. I'm going to tell you something I've never told another class like you. Okay? When I was 5, my parents, who I love, divorced. When I was 5. I'm the oldest of 3 kids from that group, those 2 people. My mother left my father for some dude who was the worst human being I've ever met. Or one of them, anyway. He was probably the second worst. He beat me every day. I'm 5. And I guess he just beat me because I look like my dad. At the age of 5, I started wetting in bed, and then he started to come into my room at night and tie a string around me and told me, 5-year-old, if you're not purple in the morning, I'm going to whip your ass. You understand? What do you do with that? Now this continued every day until the man finally started beating my mother. And then my mother came to her senses and found another guy who was stronger than he was. Just stronger. Right? And she threw one guy out. She left with this new guy. Well, this new guy was a sicko, okay, who at the age of 6, right, while my mother was working at night, raped my 6-year-old little sister. I was 7. While he was raping my little sister, I was right next to him, wide awake, and he said, "Your turn." And I'm like, I'm crying. I don't know what's going on. This man's raping my little sister. I've never seen anything like this. This was my first introduction to what sex is, not what sex is supposed to be. This went on. Now, of course, I didn't do anything. I cried, I screamed, I wailed. My little sister was crying already. She screamed, she wailed. And so he thought we might wake up the rest of the house, so he stopped. Thank God. But my mother worked every night in a nursing home until early morning. And my little sister got raped, I don't know how many times. I don't know how many times I witnessed it. I lost track. I just hid under the covers. Now, thank God he didn't like boys. Didn't know my little sister. When I got old enough, 8, he thought it was time for him to teach me what sex was all about. So he used to pick me up and take me out, where he would go have sex with some woman that drove school buses for all of you. While her husband was out of work, he had sex with her and asked me to have sex with her daughter, who was 3 years older than I was. I don't even know what to do. I just huddled in the corner and was so afraid. What's going on? You think I was believing in God then? So because of this evil human being, I was introduced to sex when I was 7, while my little sister was being raped. He continued to rape my little sister until she was in her 14 years old. How she didn't get pregnant from this evil son of a gun, I don't know. Finally, when I was 8, we finally had the courage enough to tell somebody what was going on. I thought my father was going to kill him. He came to the house with a gun, pointed it right at his head like this. And I thought, well, there goes him, and there goes my dad, because if my dad kills this guy, I'll never see him again. Right? Somehow, by the grace of God, my father didn't pull that trigger, but he told him, if you ever lay a finger on my son or my daughter again, I will kill you. Do you understand? He said yes. And you would think that would have done the trick, right? See, all he did was come to my little sister later on and say, oh, nothing's changed here, sweetie. Only thing changes now is that I'm going to continue to rape you, but if you tell anybody, I'm going to kill your mom. So, if you think I get a little serious about this particular topic, well, you're right, I do. Because as a young boy, I experienced the worst possible kind of shit that you can imagine because of it. So when I heard the fall of man, it made sense to me. Perfect sense. And because of that, I teach it and I'm real serious. So, I didn't mean to embarrass anybody. But you have to understand, there's some evil crap that goes on in this world. And it's all because of the subject that I'm teaching you today. So I ask you to bear with me and to listen carefully. You might learn something that'll save your life or protect you or one of your children or somebody else's. Because you know better. And you understand. The world doesn't understand this stuff, you guys. People don't get it at all. And then there are other people who don't want to get it because then behavior has to change. See, that's what happened to me. Because of the influence that I had when I was 5, 6, and 7. I started having sex as a young boy way too early. I'm not proud of it. I'm so ashamed of it. So when I met my beautiful wife, who had protected her purity for her eternal spouse, the one thing that I wanted to give her, I can't. Because it's gone. You understand? It isn't all fairy dust and roses in the world. You guys grew up in families, and I don't care what you say about your parents, you got good parents. You just don't know it. All that stuff your parents do to protect you is because they love you, and you should be thanking God that you have somebody in your life who's like that. Oh, they're not perfect, but by God, they're there loving you, taking care of you, trying to, protect you and not give you the stuff that I grew up with, or my sister grew up with. And God only knows how many other people in the world have to grow up through that kind of stuff. The statistics on this earth about young women who are raped by a loved one, a family member, or a neighbor is off the charts. The very same thing the devil did to Eve. So I beg your forgiveness, okay? But I'm not sorry to teach the truth. And I'm going to do that with all my heart. I'm going to do that with all my conviction. And I'm just going to ask for your understanding, okay? All right. Does that make sense to anybody? Because Adam and Eve fell, and their love was centered upon self-centered love, selfishness, Lucifer's love, the archangel's love. They could not multiply God's lineage, they multiplied Satan's lineage. Genesis 4:1. This is the very first verse in chapter 4. The chapter 3 is the fall. And then 4:1, listen to what it says. And Adam did what? He knew his wife, Eve. Right? And she conceived and bore a Cain, saying, I have gotten the man with the help of the Lord. Okay. Doesn't say Adam had sex with his wife. Doesn't say Adam made love to his wife. It says Adam knew his wife. If you talk to any old timer who knows the Bible, and he says, hey, you know, so-and-so knew so-and-so. And he says, I'm not talking about the biblical way. If someone talks about knowing somebody in the biblical way, he's talking about they had sex. Every time. Because if you know somebody like this, they always conceive a son or a daughter. Every time. The tree of knowledge. Adam knew his wife. She conceived. Get it? Kind of no-brainer if you think about it, right? If you get to know somebody like this, you're not saying, hey man, shaking hands and stuff. Okay. Cain in 4:17. Cain goes into the land of Nod. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived a son, Enoch. Some similarities here. Every time the Bible talks about so-and-so knew so-and-so, they begat somebody. Okay? Every time. So if you know somebody in the biblical way, the tree of knowledge, you're having sex. Every time. It's not going to school. Well, different kind of school. And then Adam knew his wife again, and she bore another son. His name was Seth. Men of Sodom. All right. Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so that we might know them. Remember I talked about that last night? You know the scripture. I love it because if you just do a little research, you'll just find one scripture after the other that makes it clear. Lucifer knew Eve, then Eve knew Adam. Listen to this. This is the Song of Solomon is a song about love. Okay? Solomon had, did you know that the good old Solomon, wise Solomon, I don't know. I'm not too smart. I'm not too sure how smart Solomon was. Man had over 700 wives. He had 2 women for every day. He's crazy. Okay? I got 1 wife, and that's enough. Okay, y'all learn that. Y'all understand that later. As an apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among young men. With great delight I saw in his shadow, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. That's an interesting language right there, y'all. Let my beloved come into his garden, oh my land, and eat of its choice fruits. They're not talking about apples and oranges, okay? I come into my garden, my sister, my bride, eat, O friends, and drink deep, O beloved. Song of Solomon, it teaches you something that, you know, you got to pay attention. This is all in the Bible. The longest book in the Bible is the Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon, the longest book in the Bible, it's all about love and it talks about fruit all the time. You are tasty as a palm tree, and your breasts are like its clusters of fruit. I say I climb into the palm tree, and lay hold of its fruits and branches. Oh, may your breasts be like clusters of the wine. You know, come on. This is all left and right. So when I tell you fruit in the garden symbolizes Eve's love, I'm not messing around. There's tons of symbolism in the Bible that talks about that kind of thing. The meaning of the fruit is clear. This is the way an adulteress she eats. She wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. Oh, it is black and white in the Bible. That's exactly what it says in Proverbs. And it goes on to say in Proverbs that if a young man were to sleep with a prostitute, are you ready for this? If you lay with a prostitute, you take on her attributes. Why? Because you're swapping DNA. And you're not just flesh and bone, you're spirit too. Your spirits are becoming one. There's an exchange. You become like the one you're being with. Oh man. I'm sorry I messed this slide up, so we'll just kind of go with it here. Because of one man's trespass, death reigns through that one man. Death reigns through one man. All throughout the ages. Because of one man's sin. Remember I told you what Jesus said? You are of your father the devil. And it's his will that you seek to do. That's what it says. It's his desire.